Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Evil! This is the audiobook review of The Fourth Monkey Killer by J.D. Barker and narrated by Edoardo, Balerini, and Grahm, Winton. Let's get into it. My quick thumbs up, thumbs down. Do I recommend this book? This one's a hard one, and this whole genre will probably be a hard one to say if I recommend or don't recommend. So with that, I'm going to say I personally do not recommend this book. But there is a market out there for certain people that would really enjoy this book. So this book, and let's just get into the story right off the bat. This is a mystery serial killer type novel. So it's its own genre, and it's a genre that I enjoy. It's both frightening and interesting to get into minds of some pretty disturbed people out there and what drives them. So this book did a lot of things right. First off, the antagonist, he's as likable as an antagonist of this sort can be. There's two stories in this book. There's the current day event story, and basically the fourth monkey killer, true to his name, he kills. I suppose this won't be a spoiler. Nah, this won't be a spoiler. Basically, the name says what it is, right? So he kidnaps an individual, and he normally from a family, and he sends body parts to their loved ones. First, the ears, then the eyes, then the tongue. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. And then eventually he kills that individual, and that's the no evil portion of it. So there's the main story takes place in a relatively short period of time in Chicago, Illinois, and its surroundings. And it's about this one detective, which he was, out of all the characters, he was the best character. Porter is the main detective's name. He is a very good character. He's well fleshed out. He's entertaining. He's your detective. No breaking ground here. He does what all detectives do, and self-sacrifice for the greater good, and puts himself in danger, and really dedicated to this case. So the second story, going back to our antagonist, we'll call him 4MK, the four monkey killer. That's what they label him. He left a diary for Sam Porter to find, and as Sam Porter's reading this journal or this diary, the 4MK killer's talking about his upbringing, and both those stories kind of intertwine together. So you get a sense of the 4MK monkey killer, how he came to be, and you get Sam Porter trying to find clues within this journal to figure out what's going on. So that was done well. I enjoyed that. I would get real dedicated to one story, and then we would come out of that story to go back to, from 4MK's childhood to the real time. And I was like, I want to see what's happening next. But then I'd get into the real time story, and then I would want to go, and I would want to stay there, but we'd go back to the journal. And it always caused a little bit of aggravation, but it was nicely done. It was a good way to flesh out the 4MK killer in one series, right? It was one book. I imagine there's going to be other books. I'm on the fence if I'm going to read it or not, and I'll explain why. The supportive characters, they were bad. They were as bad as any supportive characters. They were very generic. They were very one-dimensional. They were very forgettable. I had a very hard time figuring out. So Sam Porter's partner, Nash, I don't even remember his last name. I'm not even going to try to worry about what his last name is. He had the exact same personality type of like two other supporting characters, the IT guy and art guy. And I would always get them confused. Part of this is the narrator's fault. Not fart. Fault. But the writing, they had the same appearance. I for most of the book I thought it was the same character until they were talking to each other at one point, and I was like, wait a minute, is he talking to him? Oh, that's another character. That's very bad. I couldn't remember their names like right after I read the book, which is bad. You get really good books with very good supportive characters like Ready Player One, Plug-in coming in next week. Yep, be ready for it. I read that book and I remembered everybody's name till now. That's how it's done. This one, I finished the book and I was like, what was Sam's partner's name? And I had actually to go back and look it up. And there's other supportive characters, and I went in, looked them up just so I could, say them by name. So we got Nash, which I already mentioned. Isley, which is Nash 2.0. And then we got Bishop. We got Talbot, which is the bad guy. And we got Claire, which is like a female officer, a female detective. She was distinctive just because she was female. But she was done very... It was okay. So supportive characters was horrendous. Talbot is one of the main focus points. He's the father of the individual that was kidnapped. He's your typical wealthy guy with your typical wealthy guy issues. I had this story pegged from the beginning to the end, and it went exactly like I thought. There was no surprises, no turns whatsoever. It happened exactly like within the first 5 minutes of this audiobook. I knew exactly how it was going to end. I knew every twist and turn that they were going to take, and it did exactly that. And that's what really hindered this book. What saved this book a little bit was actually that journal entries from the 4MK killer, because that was unknown. That story, I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. That story was the gem in the rough, if you want to say that. That's where the most of the entertainment was happening, and not because it was particularly good. It's just I didn't know where they were going with it. So every time that came on, I was truly like, ooh, what's going to happen next? When we're in real day events, I was like, yep, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And yep, that happened. So big bummer there. Other big bummer is they leave clues at the beginning that they're trying to, they even write them on a whiteboard and like, these are important. Should we scratch this off, or no, let's put this back on? And basically those clues, they do come together, but it's very forced and it's very illogical. When you leave clues, it needs to be like a riddle. I mean, it needs to be, you have no idea what it means, and when it comes together, either you yourself reach the point or the author takes you there. But when it comes together, you're like, how could I have not seen that? Of course, that's what that meant. This one was ridiculous. It was like, okay, makes no sense, but all right. I don't know why he even bothered leaving those clues, because it's forced. It's bad. So let's go to, so in conclusion, for story, I would give this a 2 out of 5. So narration, there's two narrators, and I've mentioned in past videos that I prefer one narrator. So Secondhand Curses by Drew Hayes had 3 narrators, and it was done very well. I mean, every studio needs to listen to that book and see how that's done right. So this one had 2 narrators, and it was okay. Again, I'm not sure if it was the writing or the narrator, but Nash and Bishop and a lot of these supporting characters, they were the same person to me. So it was a very, very, very non-distinguishable. No, nothing that allowed me as the listener to separate them. So where I can say is the narration for Porter and the antagonist was done very well. Again, those are the strong points of this story. So at least they focused in that, which, I'll give them that. So for narration, I'd give this a 2 out of 5. So now let's go to listenability. Would I listen to this book again? It would not be my number 1 choice to listen again. So I could see myself maybe possibly listening to this again for some reason that I can't think of right now. So for that, I would also give it a 2 out of 5. So yeah, that's it. Overall, this story is a 2 out of 5. Again, like I said in the beginning, can't really recommend it. It's all right. It's there's enjoyment to be had, and most books there's enjoyment to be had. But there's so many other books, so many other serial killer type novels out there that are just done better. And if you had to, put your hard-earned money and your even more precious time into a book, I think there's other books of this genre that are more worth your time. So, have you read The Fourth Monkey Killer? What did you think about it? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Comment below, let me know. And again, as always, thank you for listening. This has been Dro Talks. Please subscribe. Hit that bell to get notified, and we'll see you next time. I gotta work on my camera, my hand motion on my camera.